up.
Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues and the Batman Universe and the Bat Fans Without Pants podcast that I'm a part of. A lot of things to say and by. We are here for the final stage of grief in my Robin R.I.P series that I've been doing. Yes, it is Batman and Nightwing number 23. I want to save all of my thoughts and everything for this issue and then everything as a whole, and talk to you guys about what I felt about this particular issue, then everything as a whole, dealing with Damian and this whole R.I.P. little series that I did. I did wait a little bit longer to do this last piece. I wanted to make sure that people kind of had a chance to read this so we could kind of go through it together, and also give just people a little bit of extra chance just in case I didn't want to do it, right after this issue came out and kind of spoil it for people. So, like I try to say with everything, spoilers, I'm going to spoil the crap out of this thing. But we are here at the acceptance stage of grief. And the acceptance stage of grief is, well, where you're basically accepting what is going on. But acceptance usually doesn't kind of work like that. With the acceptance, you are relinquishing the grief that you have. The grief is that last little bit, or sometimes in most cases it's the biggest part that someone will have the hardest time letting go of. In the case of death, like we're dealing with in here, just in grief in general, with the acceptance stage, once you accept the fact that they're gone or that person is no longer around, you're having to let go of the grief, and that's that last ounce of thing that somebody holds on to as if I let this go, I will have nothing. They can't see beyond sometimes that you'll have all the happy memories, that sometimes somebody would rather live with the grief side of it, because that is still the most raw feeling that you can have, is just that total loss. And some people will live in that grief stage right before acceptance, sometimes for quite a while, because that is the most real and the most connected they feel with that person. Is as crazy as that may seem, they would rather wallow in that grief rather than give it away, because once they give it away, they now have to accept and acknowledge what has just happened to them. So without further ado, let's get into the last chapter of the 5 Stages of Grief, written by Peter J. Tomasi and drawn by the wonderful Patrick Gleason, whom I had the privilege of meeting last weekend at the Ohio Comic-Con. So without further ado, Batman and Nightwing number 23. Batman and Nightwing number 23, Acceptance. This issue opens with the now tragic part of Batman Incorporated number 8. We see Batman in the safe, submerged in the pool, trying frantically to get out to save his son. We see Bruce then scream out, "No!" Bruce is hooked up to a simulator running in the Batcave, running the scenario of Damian's death, trying to figure out if there was a way he could have saved his son. This is the 447th time Bruce has run this program, and it has failed. We see Nightwing and Alfred watching Bruce running the program yet again. Alfred tells Dick that he has been doing this 4 days straight, non-stop. Alfred says he's tried everything to talk Bruce into shutting the simulator down. Bruce runs the program again. This time, he gets out of the safe quicker, but is held up much longer by the Man-Bats. He is still arriving too late to save Damian. He is holding his body, and Bruce sets off the Robin explosive, and before it explodes, he tells the clone, "This is a gift from my son." And then, the explosion. The simulator ends, with Bruce yelling out in frustration once again. Bruce sees Dick and Alfred watching him. Bruce asks Dick if he is here to help try to talk some sense into him. Alfred says yes, listen to him. To which Dick asks if the simulator has a 2-player mode. Alfred asks why Dick is humoring him in this madness. Dick says he knows that you cannot talk Bruce off a ledge, and it's better to try and help Bruce than try and talk him off. They reset the simulator to begin again, with 2 of them now. 448. Begin. Alfred sadly walks away. Back to the events of Batman Incorporated number 8, the simulation mode kicks in, that is. We see Robin taking on his evil monster of a clone. This time, Dick does not get knocked out and is there to help Damian fight a little longer. Batman is able to get out of the safe and ward off the Man-Bats quicker this time, now joining into the fight. Damian calls out for his father. Jackie Van Dam kicks in as Robin, Nightwing, and now Batman all take on the heretic together. The clone is calling out to Damian, saying he cannot escape his fate. Batman takes on the clone as Nightwing draws the fire from the other guards that are shooting upon them, leaving Robin to save the little girl Ellie. As Robin goes to save her, Heretic frees himself from Batman's grip and is seconds away from driving the sword into Robin. Batman throws a spear to Nightwing standing closely by, and Nightwing tries to save Damian. Nightwing plunges a spear into the clone's chest just in the nick of time, killing him and saving Robin. Bruce kneels in front of his son saying, "We did everything we could, but it wasn't enough. He's gone, and all that's left is a black hole." Dick removes the simulation goggles and tells Bruce, no, he didn't. Damian left a father who loved his son, and a son who loved his father. He left something tangible behind. Bruce removes his goggles, and the computer program says, 448, successfully completed. Bruce says being Batman took away his son. Dick says Damian knew the risks, and he was trained since birth and was ready more than any of them, even more than Bruce. Dick tells Bruce to turn the tragedy into something better, not just for Damian's sake and Bruce's, but for all of Gotham, just like when his parents died, and that he has to go out every night and be Batman. Bruce says he may have to live with it, but he surely doesn't have to accept it. Dick tells Bruce that's all anyone can expect from a father that had to bury his son. The cave is now empty. Alfred is standing in front of the simulator and sits down and runs the 449th program. We now see Alfred's perspective from Batman Incorporated number 7, where Alfred lets Damian go out as Robin when Bruce told Alfred to not let him do so. Everything plays out just like it had before. Alfred helping Damian suit up, and just when Damian is about to leave, Alfred uses a tranquilizer on Robin, and Damian passes out. Alfred says how proud he is of Damian, but if he were to allow him to leave the cave tonight, he could not live with himself, as he gently lays Damian down on the floor. Program 449 successfully completed. Alfred takes off the goggles to see Bruce staring at the monitor of what Alfred saw in the simulator. Alfred, crying, tells Bruce that he's sorry. Bruce comforts Alfred and says that he is the one that is sorry for not seeing how deep Alfred's pain was going as well. Bruce said he was too selfish to see that they both had lost a son. Alfred asks, "Can we please shut this damn thing off?" Bruce reaches out to the computer and says yes, and clicks the button to turn the simulator off. All right, Batman and Nightwing number 23. I don't know if you could tell even in hearing the voiceover that I did. I had a little bit of trouble getting through this and even reading. Somebody's like, "Oh, what'd you do, cry reading a comic?" Yeah, I did. I teared up a little bit, especially with the Alfred section. Anybody that doesn't have... That's half the reason why we read comics, is to... Sometimes for escapism, sometimes to connect into something. I think that's why people sometimes get so fanatical about comics and about movies and music and everything. We relate with characters, or we relate with the movies that are on the screen, and we have sometimes a personal connection. And it's funny, the 6 years that we had Damian as Robin, for that first year, I couldn't stand Robin. I thought Grant Morrison came in, wrote this Batman and Son story, and had this, art going where he kicked out my favorite Robin, Tim Drake. And kind of once I got past that, I really started to get into the character of Damian. And sadly, it wasn't until right about the time the New 52 hit that I was on the last couple issues of Batman and Robin, and I kind of went backwards and started picking up some of those earlier issues where I kind of checked out. I thought, no, I'm not reading any of it, and I really feel shortchanged by not just kind of jumping on the train and riding it and going, let's see where this ride takes us. So I went back and got some of the old issues, and I got the Batman and Robin Grant Morrison hardcover editions of those, and I was on from the beginning of New 52 up until obviously issue 23, and some villain issues that you kind of see here turned over. But it was such a wonderful thing to kind of see the Damian character grow, and at a time where I didn't care for Damian at all, and I was one of those like, oh, I'll kill him off, or I'll get rid of him, I don't care, just bring back Tim Drake. Knowing that Damian was going to die because DC Comics spoiled it for some of us, I was upset reading that. And I remember telling my wife going, I can't believe I'm having this reaction of Damian dying, that it was a character that I didn't care for at all, that I end up growing to love. And I think that's a testament to what Grant Morrison did, and even more so to Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, that they really delved into who Damian was. I think more so than what Grant Morrison did, and that is where I really started to have a love for the character. It was in this Batman and Robin run. So it did choke me up with Alfred just pleading to Bruce, like, yes, he was saying to turn off the computer, but it was more of a, can we stop this? Can you come out of this depression? Can I come out of this depression? Alfred hasn't had a chance through this whole series to be able to really kind of deal with it because he's been so worried of Bruce. And it was interesting in that panel to see Alfred get into the simulator and wonder if there was something he could have done to try and stop it. I think that was the beautiful thing about this. When something bad happens to someone, a lot of times people will go, even if you get a speeding ticket, you go, you know what, if I'd have left the house 5 seconds earlier, I wouldn't have got pulled over by the cop. Or if a tragedy happens, people go, oh, if I could have done this, or if I would have been there, that would have happened, or it wouldn't have happened. So to kind of see the issue play out this way, that Bruce has all this technology, and that, you know, Grant Morrison had created this Bat God that can get out of every situation and knows exactly what to do. Tomasi tipped the hat to Grant Morrison in doing that, and there are some things even Batman can't do. And all Bruce wanted to see through his simulation is, what could I have done? Could I have saved him? And, you know, it looked like he probably could have, but he had to have Nightwing's help, and again, having to have help and rely on somebody else. And it is a sad thing. To hear Dick tell Bruce, you know, you're doing all that you can do. You don't have to accept it, but you do have to live with it. You have to continue. You have to go on. You have to be Batman. And I just thought this whole series was done really well. I know some people had kind of mentioned on a couple other podcasts that I were on and had been listening to, and just some of my friends that we've been talking, they're like, oh, this 5 stages of grief is taking forever, and, you know, Batman's been in mourning for months. Well, you've got to kind of keep some perspective in that each of these issues are coming out once a month. So you have a story feels like it's going to be going on for quite a while, you know, 5 months of this dark and brooding Batman, even more so than normal. But reading these all together, when this one came out, I read through 1 and went straight through and then read 23. So it does read a lot better and more cohesive in a single sitting. And I think when this goes to trade, it'll read a lot better and won't seem like this big, huge, long, drawn-out thing. I think it'll just be a nice story to read. And right now, it's probably one of my favorites that Tomasi and Gleason have done. There's been some, you know, the whole entire run has been fantastic. It's right up there with the Scott Snyder. I kind of have leaned toward this one just a little bit more than the Snyder run. Not trying to take any away from Snyder Capullo, but it's arguably probably one of the best Batman titles out there. I mean, the two are probably, you know, neck and neck. So I think when this goes to trade, it'll feel more cohesive, and we won't have like a month and then another month and another month to try and, you know, draw this whole story out. So I'll probably end up getting this in trade, try and keep all my issues together in my box, and then pulling out the trade to just pick up and read. And I think it'll be one that I'm going to want to probably read over and over again. I think it was just done marvelously. There were a couple key things. Being a Tim Drake Robin fan, or a Red Robin fan, I would have liked to have seen the Batman and Red Robin issue have a little bit more of Red Robin, Tim Drake in it. But overall, I thought it was done really good, and we're kind of splicing Carrie Kelly, weaving her into the story. The next issue that comes out after all this Forever Evil stuff I think is going to be Batman and Carrie Kelly, and then it'll go into a Batman and Two-Face storyline in the Batman and Robin comic. So people were kind of on the Harper Row bandwagon, like, oh, she's going to be the next Robin. With them bringing Carrie Kelly into the New 52 or the Batman universe, we could be looking at a modern version of Carrie Kelly as Robin. Even though she was in the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns, they're kind of bringing her in here. So who knows what's going to happen in the next few months with Forever Evil and then in the Batman and Robin title. And I'm kind of curious to see at what point the Batman and Robin title does in fact actually go back to Batman and Robin. So this has been a blast to do. Hopefully you guys have liked this. I'll probably do some more of these later on. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I've had, like I said, I've had a really good time doing this, and again, it's been a roller coaster ride for everybody that's a Robin fan, and me being, a huge Robin fan, to kind of see a character that, I love the Robin character, but seeing Damian come in and me not like him at all, to grow to love this character and left with a, well, now what? I think that just goes to superb writing on Grant Morrison's part, but even more so to Tomasi and Gleason. I think they did a knockout job in this particular story and through the whole Batman and Robin run up to this current point. We'll see where it goes. So thanks for watching. Sorry this one took a little longer to get out, but I wanted to make sure people had time to read it if they hadn't got around to reading it when the issue first came out. So we'll have more stuff coming for you on Rob's Rogues. We will get back into the Batman animated series run, which I know some people are kind of anxious to kind of see me do, with Maxwell giving me this treasure trove of Batman animated series stuff. So thanks for watching, and as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the Batman Universe and the Bat Fans Without Pants podcast, and we will see you guys next time.